If I have time like I have time today, I'm gonna make these more opinionated, subjective videos on new cars that have been recently released. If you guys want to see more like this in the future, just let me know. We're looking at the Cherokee today. The Dodge Ram, Jeep, Chrysler, and Sandy's providing us with this Cherokee, so let's get right into it. The Cherokee's new engine is actually pretty impressive. 210 horsepower, 230 pound-feet of torque. It's a turbo 1.6 liter hybrid. It can get high 30s for the fuel economy. My problem with it, like most people's problem, is the turbocharged nature. It just adds a lot of complexity. It does smooth out the performance, but you know, for long-term reliability, it is a little bit worrisome. Now this whole bottom section here, I'm just not a big fan of in general. Like these kind of look like rocket boosters. I mean, the Honda CR-V has a similar setup, but just tons and tons of plastic. This is the Limited. This isn't like a base model. Limited, it's kind of like mid-trim for Jeep. And then the upper section I actually really like. I think that the 7-slot grill, they always do it. I don't know, I think it works. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag where the top I think looks good, but then the bottom, just too much plastic in general. Now with the wheels, they're kind of mixed. They tried to make the wheel look rugged. I mean, look at these very kind of like harsh lines there. And then the big chunky spokes, but then it's mostly closed off. It's just strange looking overall. And then more plastic. This plastic doesn't offend me as much because a lot of off-roaders will have plastic cladding on the side. Now, how much time do you guys want to spend on the door handles? Because I just don't like them. I don't like electronic door handles ever. I mean, I get that this is nice for, again, aerodynamic efficiency, which it's a hybrid, but at the same time, like just the whole actuation with that and then the lock feature being there. Oh, do I have to? No, it unlocks that way. I don't know. It's just weird. And speaking of weird, like this taillight design reminds me of the Hyundai Ioniq 5, but it's a Jeep. It's like, what's happening there? And then again, tons and tons of plastic here on the bottom. They didn't paint it or anything. They probably should have painted it a little bit for the Limited, I think, maybe. Now this back here I love with the new Cherokee. So first off, you have tons of space underneath, which is great. I imagine you could actually fit a spare tire underneath there. Maybe. But anyways, just huge flat load floor. The seats fold down flat with this as well. I love that. Package-wise, fantastic in the back. They just did an amazing job there. I still don't understand why they are hell-bent on having the hatch close feature there, because you press it and then you have to like kind of run back quickly. And I don't know, I imagine for like an elderly person that has bad hips or knees or something, that might be a little bit sketchy. And when you take in the whole design together, I don't know, I still am kind of on the fence. Like it just doesn't look like a Jeep anymore. It's got some Jeep elements, but then it just, I don't know, it looks different. Now this right here is kind of annoying. It's a Limited and this is just plastic at the top with the rear. And at least it's soft touch down below, which is not too bad. And then the seats, I think generally speaking, they're just kind of nice with the trim. They don't really go too far out there, but yeah, I think it's pretty nice. Love the space. This is something that I think they did a great job with the Cherokee. Like this is actually a family-friendly car in that sense. You do have some vents, which is, again, another thing I like, USB ports. I wish they'd have an outlet back here. A lot of competitors will have like a full outlet in that area. Again, the electronic door handle release, so stupid. The headroom, they did a really good job with. I mean, this thing is very spacious. How many times do I have to do this? I hate these doors. Now this does come with quite a few features. You got like blind spot monitoring. I like they did automatic for the front 2 windows. And here's what the front passenger has. Soft touch at the top. Like this should be in the back as well. I do like all of the seat adjustments here for the driver, and again the materials and all of that feel pretty nice. This section here I'm not a huge fan of. So for the lights you have, I mean, I don't care too much for the buttons. At least they have physical buttons. I don't like this for the hood release. Like I want an actual latch. It's kind of preferred. And then I've just never been a fan of electronic parking brakes, so that's nothing against the Cherokee here. That's just all these modern cars. This is kind of funky with the engine stop start. And then you've got the dial shifter behind it, which took a second for me to be able to use it. I mean, I know you can get used to it. I had trucks with it in the past, so I know you get used to it for sure. But I don't know, in something like a Cherokee is supposed to be more rugged and off-roady, you kind of want like a real shifter perhaps, but this also saves a little bit of space. Now when it comes to the steering wheel, it's kind of mixed. I don't think manufacturers should keep doing this weird steering wheel shape thing. I just think it's a complete waste. Like just do a regular steering wheel. But the controls on it are fantastic. So having the cruise control and everything here on the front face, having this controls for the center screen there on the front face, radio controls in the back. I know they've had the radio controls in the back for like over a decade, maybe even longer than that. But yeah, I mean, really good design with the steering wheel, and just having the stock there, very easily accessible. So this is like mixed. It's like weird shape, but then the functionality is great. I've never really had a complaint about any Stellantis gauge clusters. I think that it's a little bit slow to go from one side to the other. I think they should improve that part of it. Like, why is it so slow? But the overall information display and all of that, I mean, that's great. It's really easy to use, and it's really nicely put into the dash. Like, this is just a straight line, and the dash is not higher than the hood like you see in a lot of modern cars where they have like huge screens. So just with this straight line across and then the gauge cluster being built down below, great design. 360 camera should be standard. And in a limited, we should have heated and cooled seats, right? But anyways, the screen continues that theme of like actually integrating into the dash. Like other automakers just pop a tablet on. Like it's an afterthought. You have the vents up above, and then you have this trim to the side, and it flows into the screen. Again, this is really good car design, in my opinion. And the screen itself, it could use a little bit of improvement with the response time. At least they give you physical volume control, which is nice. I do like that there is a lot of physical-ish elements to the climate. Now, this isn't like true physical. It's this weird kind of haptic feedback tab, which not the biggest fan of, but it's better than having it in the touchscreen, I suppose. And then they do at least give you some physical controls, including for the low gear mode. Again, this doesn't have a torque converter automatic because of the hybrid system, but they kind of mimic having, yeah. This right here is really good design with the phone charging pad because it actually will hold it in, and then you actually have a little cable, 12 volt down there and thread through area. And this is great because it's like open enough that if you did have a cable, you have plenty of space to thread that through and everything. And then, like I said, the headroom in this new Cherokee is pretty good. This part slopes quite aggressively, but the rest of it, where your head's gonna go, it's really good. And then when it comes to pricing, the base price on this limited is $38,000, and then this one, $42,220. Well, we'll take it out and drive it and kind of talk about the pricing more there. So, Cherokee. Let's start with the pricing, and then we'll kind of talk about the driving dynamics and all of that with this Cherokee. So I think that automakers have gotten to the point with new car pricing in general where if it's over $40,000 and it's an SUV, it doesn't need to have a third row, but I think it should have it as an option because that will create more value. And there's plenty of space back there to put a third row. Now you might be saying, oh, we'll just get a Grand Cherokee, right? Grand Cherokee L. And yeah, I do agree, like that's gonna be a much better 3-row or like a Durango because of the size of the vehicle and the spacing. I'm just thinking from a value perspective because you're asking someone to spend over $40,000 on a 2-row. It's the same thing that's happening with Subaru now. Like the new Outback, I mean, that thing is over $50,000 with the loaded up version, and there's no third row option available. And I think that's gonna be a hindrance for a lot of people because they're gonna look at it and they're going, man, $50,000 for a 2-row non-luxury vehicle. Now this hybrid system, like I said, with the turbo, I think it performs really well. It's super, super smooth. It's a lot smoother than a lot of the competition. And again, the fuel economy is right there. It's got amazing fuel economy. It's just the complexity is concerning. Now, if it's reliable, then good. But if it's not, because of the complexity, it's like, well, maybe you guys should have done an NA 4-cylinder like what Toyota does, like what Honda does, like what pretty much everyone else is doing in this segment, where they offer a hybrid and it gets good fuel economy. It's like, yep, you're gonna give up performance. And it seems like Jeep still, and just Stellantis in general, still can't get past that. Like, they don't want to offer less performance. They want to keep the performance up and the fuel economy. It's like, yeah, you can technically do that, but at the cost of potential reliability. But yeah, like I said, it performs flawlessly. It's very good in terms of the low-end torque and just how smooth it is. One of the better powertrains out there. Now the steering wheel itself, even though I'm not a fan of reinventing the wheel, like I said, I think that it would have been better with just a good old-fashioned circle. I do think that it somewhat works because the trim on this wheel is extremely smooth to the touch, and so it still can, even though it's a weird shape, it still can kind of slide down your hands a bit. Slide through your hands, not down them, but through them. And it's nice to hold. I will say that, that's the one thing. It's like a circular wheel, like holding like this, is not as comfortable as this. So it's like, it's not, excuse me, it's not all downside. There is that upside, But yeah, you know, it's a little bit of funkiness. Definitely a little bit of funkiness. Yeah, again, this is so smooth. And then on tap, you get quite a bit of power. The steering rack on this is pretty darn precise. Almost a little bit too precise for a Jeep, you know? Used to having a little bit of floatiness with a Jeep, and so having no floatiness in the steering is kind of a weird feeling. Having such direct steering with a Jeep. But yeah, the suspension's very comfortable. I think this drives really well. Like, personally, when I think of like Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, like this is, I like this a bit more in certain ways. But what I will say is, as my other critique, Jeep and Stellantis in general need to just have more standard equipment with their cars. They have too many different packages within their trims. Like this is a limited and then it has an upgrade package on top of the limited. Too much complexity. Like, you know, maybe I think 10, 15 years ago, people would have been more about that because cars were less expensive overall. But with how expensive cars are, it's like just standardize it, because that'll bring down the overall price of the car and it just simplifies things within the lineup. And so I think to be like, if they wanted this to be super competitive in terms of options and everything, because now Toyota's gotten really expensive, Honda's more expensive, but still at this price point, it has enough to be like right there in line with the competition. But when I say super competitive, I mean beat the competition. You know, 360 camera cooled seats, that's all they have to add. 360 camera cooled seats at this price point. Interesting. Anyways, Jeep is on said. And that would make it substantially more competitive, I would say, within the segment. So, and just make it standard. Just have limited is, you know, 42 grand. It has 360 camera, heated ventilated seats, all of that. That's really one of the biggest struggles of Stellantis right now, is just packaging. Once they get their packaging down, yeah, things will be a lot better. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Cherokee. It's not like, just like most cars, it's not all good and it's not all bad. It's somewhere in between. And yeah, this definitely sits there in the somewhere in between. It's got some really good stuff, but it also has some funky stuff that they could improve. And I think the improvements that could be made on this, other than the powertrain, right? And again, like I said, if it's reliable, it's reliable. But other than that, they're very simple packaging changes that I think would massively improve the, what do you call it? Just the like factor with this car, where it'd be a lot more appealing, the appeal of it. Because when you don't have cooled seats and 360 camera at over 40,000 for a Cherokee, that feels kind of a little bit funky. At least it has parking sensors.